Oh yeah, it was. He's my good luck charm. Just been keeping in contact with him. Obviously, like any of us in here, the tragedy like that happened. You know what I mean? It's like it's a lot of nonsense that's going on in the world. So, for him to be a victim of that is it's heartbreaking. You know what I mean? But he's strong. He's bouncing back. He's recovering very well, and I feel like it's my job to just give him that light, that smile that he deserves, that he needs, and hopefully, today was one of those days where you know what I mean. He's smiling and. That's all I'm here for.
Max, what have you seen in the last few years that leads you to believe that James Harden is going to turn back the clock to a point where,
Gregarious.
Harden could lead the Sixers through this series without Embiid?
What I really resent is like the genuine mirth.
At this point, I straight up feel bad for James Harden because I feel like he's been one of the most unlucky and underappreciated stars in the NBA. I've seen this man shatter record after record only to be told that there was something wrong with the way that he did it. I've seen my man take the Kevin Durant Super Team Warriors to 7 games only to have him and his team miss 27 straight three-pointers to lose.
Harden behind the screen. Curry picks up on Harden, knocked the ball out of his hands, and Gordon for 3. Gordon for 3. Harden.
I've seen this man form what was supposed to be a super team of his own with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, only for that super team to play 16 games together as a trio. Though the Nets did go 13-3 in those games, going 8-2 in the regular season and 5-1 in the playoffs, their record would only give us a glimpse of what could have been while giving us a much darker reality. A reality that still has one of the most talented scorers that the game has ever seen and an incredibly gifted passer, Ringlis, and we have to talk about that. But first, today's content is brought to you guys by SoRare. Guys, our private SoRare League has been going super strong and is now up to over 250 members. Now, as you guys know, NBA Playoff Game Day is currently going on with SoRare, which means that in addition to our normal weekly gameplay, that we have a postseason long tournament that is being cumulatively scored to produce a total tournament score. So you're gonna want to keep your score as high as possible so you could potentially win some of these amazing prizes that SoRare has to offer. My advice to you guys is to take advantage of your rewards and daily drops, because look at who I got from mine. No big deal, just a back-to-back MVP. Let me know what you guys think of my new lineup down in the comments below. Remember to use my link in the description below to sign up for SoRare and to join my private NBA league. When you use my link, you'll get 20 free common cards. These 20 free common cards should only help you climb that playoff leaderboard once you start setting your lineup. Major shout out to SoRare for coming through and sponsoring today's content.
Guys, as per usual, leading the way, Harden.
Wow. I mean, he's completely indecisive.
76er fans, when you guys saw this, I know that some of you had to have some terrifying flashbacks, but to be more serious, that game, James Harden struggled. May 5th, Mike Wilbon said that I don't think that I've ever seen James Harden look this bad in a playoff game. He's like afraid to take shots. When Mike Wilbon said this, I could only shake my head and agree, which has to be incredibly ironic considering that I am the one that posted this James Harden post to my community tab last week. Now, I really didn't say anything too crazy, at least in my opinion, but that still didn't stop the comments from lighting me up after Harden's Game 2 and Game 3 mess. Look, all I said was that there needs to be some respect put on Harden's name after his Game 1 performance where Harden dropped 45 points, going 17 of 30 from the field, en route to a stunning victory without Embiid.
For 2 seconds, game clock and shot clock. Harden sizing up Horford. It's a 3. Good! Harden's got 45! Timeout, Boston!
If I can't show love after a game where Harden does some stuff like this, then when can I show love? When Harden took this shot, there was no doubt in my mind that it was going in. It was simply one of those nights from one of those players. The 76ers needed a big night from Harden with no Embiid and, well, he delivered. The fact that Harden can go from dominating a game like he did in Game 1 to looking like one of the worst players on the floor is both amazing and oddly terrifying at the same time. When Harden has bad performances like he did in Game 2 and 3, you know he's going to bounce back. You just have to hope that it's before it's too late, because as we know in the playoffs, every game matters. Game 4, we would see that bounce back that everybody, or at least myself, wanted to see. After scoring 45, Harden would say that people expect me to be the scoring James Harden and the James Harden that goes out there and gets 40, 50 points. And then people go out and talk and say things like, oh, you can't win like that. Then I'll go out there and get 20 points and 11 assists, and it's like, well, he's not the old James Harden anymore. No lie was told from James Harden with this statement. After Harden's Game 1 performance and victory, he would appear incredibly locked in, telling his team that Game 1 was just one game.
He won. But they're still in mourning here. The Bruins lost.
Now, I know that I can't be the only one that finds it amazing that Harden is this locked in when he actually went to Vegas mid-playoffs. To quote Doc, James called me before he went, and I was like, so what? Do it. Dennis Rodman went to Vegas. They asked me about it, and I said, we had 3 days off. I told them to do whatever they want. He's a grown man. I didn't care. Social media is out here saying that Harden needs another Vegas trip so that he could keep dropping 40 burgers on the Celtics' head. Meanwhile, I'm just over here in disbelief that my guy actually went to Vegas during the playoffs. Not only did he go to Vegas, but he came back and he hooped in his first game back. Now, games 2 and 3, those are a completely different story.
At this time of year, do adjustments from game to game really have an impact, or is it just players playing better from game to game?
I think players have to show up. I gotta do my job. Other guys, everybody knows their role. They have to do their job. Players have to show up. Obviously, you can make any adjustments you want. But if the players don't execute and, they don't show up and we don't make shots, that's on us. So I just think that's on us. I gotta be better. We all gotta be better. We just haven't been good enough.
A lot of people took this statement from Embiid as a shot at Harden because they didn't get the full context of the statement. Personally, I don't think that Embiid meant anything malicious here. He would clear up what he meant later, which he should have never had to do, and at the end of the day, he was right. A coach can make all of the adjustments in the world, but if you aren't making the right play or knocking down shots as a player, then those adjustments can quite literally not matter. In basketball, things can get to the point where a coach can only do so much. Now, this isn't saying that Doc couldn't be better, but I'm sure you guys get what I'm trying to say. I honestly think that it was impressive that the 76ers only lost Game 3 by 12 points, considering that Tyrese Maxey and Harden were a combined 7 of 30 from the field. Then don't get me started on Tobias Harris. Saying that Harden would struggle in the 2 games after his 45-point outburst is putting it pretty nicely. In games 2 and 3 combined, Harden would make just 5 out of 28 field goal attempts. Harden really dropped 45 points, only to come back and shoot 17.9% from the field in the following 2 games. This 17.9% field goal percentage would be the worst field goal percentage over any 2-game span in his career, in which he's attempted at least 20 field goals. What I love about Harden is that in Game 4, he was back to looking like Harden again and putting all of that hate that he was getting back on pause.
Hounded by Brown. They get the switch. Brogdon picks him up. And now Horford switches onto Harden. Harden floater for the tie. Got it! Embiid bullies his way inside. Out to Harden for the 3. Got it!
Game 4, Harden would record 42 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, and 4 steals, while also being ready to knock down the game-winning basket as we just saw. People really have the nerve to sit here and act like Harden isn't still a massive needle mover for any team that he's on. Harden's 42 would make him the first 76er to have multiple 40-point games in a postseason since Allen Iverson. I think this statistic is pretty cool because I feel like AI is another one of those stars that was overhated while they were playing. Harden has gotten a lot of AI comparisons, and while I don't agree with all of them, I understand where they're coming from. Now, as much as I love James, at this stage of his career, while he's still a ridiculously elite playmaker leading the league in assists per game at 10.7, as dumb and as simple-minded as it sounds, I think that Harden is one of those guys that just looks otherworldly when they're knocking down shots and they're on. Throw in some burst to his step and a mindset where he knows he has to be aggressive, and you're going to be looking at a completely different player than the pure point Harden that we've gotten used to seeing in Philadelphia. Don't get it confused. This guy is still more than capable of reminding you of what he was doing back in Houston. Even if the flashes aren't as frequent, they're still in there somewhere. And when they come out, we're going to see games like Game 1 and Game 4. I always find it funny how 1 or 2 games can completely flip a narrative. If you're a 76ers fan, how are you feeling about Harden right now? Mind you that this guy will be a free agent in the summer, and there are some strong rumblings linking him back to Houston. With that in mind, would you potentially give Harden a bag to keep him away from Houston? Or would you like to see the 76ers go another direction? You guys know me, I am a big time Harden fan. That's one of my favorite players. I'm always going to rock with this guy no matter what. I feel like some more good games are coming, but I guess time will tell. Clicking the video on the screen right now is a great way to support my channel. I'm GetLikeCoop, bringing you guys the scoop until our next upload.